So first up on the review here, let's just get all the slope-intercept forms of these lines, and then we'll work on changing them all to standard form. All right, so let's just start off with line A here. First up, we know the y-intercept's at 8. Okay, y-intercepts, when you already have the graph, are the easiest thing. So y-intercept's at 8. We just got to figure out our slope. If you notice here, with line A, my slope is 1/2. I'm going up 1, right 2. So I got a slope of 1/2 there. So my equation is going to be y equals 1/2 x plus 8. All right, let's go to B. B, my y-intercept's at 4, and it's the same slope. These lines are going to end up being parallel. I do ask you that then. But again, looking at the line here, we're going up 1, right 2, up 1, right 2. And then again, we said our y-intercept was at 4, so our equation is going to be y equals 1/2 x plus 4. All right, so that was B. Let's go to C. Line C over here. We got our y-intercept all the way up there at 10. All right, and then our slope, let's work down here where it's a little more opened up. See, we're going through it whole numbers. We're going through a whole number right there and right there. Again, these are going through it like halves. So we're going up 1, 2, 3, right 1, 2. So for C, I'm going to say my slope is 3 halves. Up 3, right 2. So I'm going to have y equals 3 halves x. And we said our y-intercept was up there at 11. So plus 11 is going to be our y-intercept. All right, so C, let's go to D. Line D, again, our y-intercept's all the way down there at -7. Our slope, we're going through there at -7. Then our next whole number is right here. And then right there. So we're going up 1, 2, 3, right 1. A lot of positive slopes here. So up 3, right 1 is just the same as slope is 3. We already said our y-intercept is at -7. So y equals 3x minus 7 for line D there. And then last up, we got line E. So we're going down 1, right 1, 2, 3. So down 1, right 3 is a slope of -1/3, and my y-intercept's at -1. So y equals -1/3 x minus 1 is going to be my slope-intercept. All right, and before we go down and do all the standard forms, I said which lines are parallel, which ones are perpendicular. We can do it down here, actually. All right, so lines 1 and 2, or line A and B here, both had a slope of 1/2, so these are parallel. All right, A and B are parallel to each other. All right, and then as far as perpendicular goes, again, they got to be opposite reciprocals. So that's going to be D and E are perpendicular. You got 3 and -1/3. So D and E are perpendicular. Okay, so we got to get all these to standard form now. So with this one, I'm just going to put my middle step right here. I got to subtract 1/2 x from the left. So it's going to leave me with a -1/2 x plus y equals 8. To get rid of my fraction, I'm going to multiply everything by -2 to make that positive and get rid of the fraction. So I'm going to have x minus 2y equals -16. For B, kind of the same deal here. We're going to have -1/2 x plus y equals 4. Multiply everything by -2. So you end up with x minus 2y equals negative 8. For line C, again, we got to move our x term to the left. So we're going to have negative 3 halves x plus y equals 11. To get rid of the fraction, multiply everything by negative 2 again. So that's going to leave me with 3x minus 2y equals negative 22. And then down here, we got to subtract 3x from both sides. So we have negative 3x plus y equals negative 7. You got to get rid of the negative there, so I'm going to multiply everything by negative 1. So we get 3x minus y equals 7. All right, and last up here, we have to add 1/3 x to both sides. Get rid of the fraction, multiply everything by 3. So it's going to leave us with x plus 3y equals negative 3. So there's all of our standard forms then. All right, so moving on here, we want to write the equation of the line that's parallel to y equals 3x minus 4 and passes through the point negative 8, negative 17 in both slope, intercept, and standard. Let's do slope, intercept first. So parallel line, same slope. So we're going to use a slope of 3. We just got to figure out our y-intercept now. So we'll have negative 17 equals 3 times negative 8 plus b. So negative 17 equals negative 24 plus b. We're going to add 24 to the left and to the right. So that's going to leave me with 7. Positive 7 is equal to b. So my line in slope-intercept, y equals 3x plus 7. So to get to standard, I got to subtract 3x from both sides. So it's going to be negative 3x plus y equals 7. I want to make that coefficient positive. So it's going to be 3x minus y equals negative 7 for my standard. All right, next up, same kind of deal here, except that we got our slope's a fraction. We want it parallel to y equals 2/3 x plus 7 and passes through the point 8, negative 7. So again, we're going to use slope 2/3. So we got negative 7 equals 2/3 times 8 plus b. So negative 7 equals 16/3 plus b. So you could say this is also just 5 1/3. That's a little bit easier to work with. And then subtract 5 1/3 from both sides. So b is going to equal negative 12 1/3. So my equation is going to be y equals 2/3 x minus 12 1/3. So we got to get that into standard form. I'm going to subtract my negative 2/3 x from both sides. So I have negative 2/3 x plus y equals the negative 12 1/3. All right, so I got to get rid of all those 3's in the denominator there. So I got to divide, and I want to get rid of the negative as well. So I'm going to multiply everything by negative 3. So I'll get 2x minus 3y equals negative 3 times negative 12 1/3 is going to be positive 37. So there's my standard. All right, so we're going to write the equation line that's perpendicular to y equals negative 3/4 x minus 4 and passes through the point 610. Again, in both slope, intercept, and standard. So my slope has got to be the opposite reciprocal. So I got to flip that fraction, change the sign. This one works out a little bit easier since we got all whole numbers. So b is going to equal 2. So my line that's perpendicular is going to be y equals 4/3 x plus 2. So I have my slope-intercept. Get it into standard. I got to subtract my 4/3 x from both sides. Got to get rid of the fraction, so multiply everything by -3. So we get 4x minus 3y equals -6 for my standard. All right, so for number 9, I said use the graph below to write the equation line both slope-intercept form and standard form. Write the equation line that's parallel to the one graph below and passes through 7, 0. So first we got to figure out what this one is. Y-intercept at 5, that's easy enough. My slope, I'm going through a whole number right there. And then right there. So it's going to be y equals, we're going up 1, 2, 3, right 5. So I got a slope of 3/5 plus 5. So I want this my new line to go through 7, 0. So that's all the way down here. We'll graph this as well then too. But the line that's going to be parallel to it, we go zero equals 3/5 times 7, plus b. So it's going to be 0 equals 21/5 plus b. So 0 equals 4 1/5 plus b. So we'll subtract 4 1/5 from both sides. So b equals -4 1/5. So my line that's parallel is going to be y equals 3/5 x minus 4 1/5. All right, let's get it into standard form. So you got to subtract 3/5 x from this side. Get rid of all your fractions, so we're going to multiply everything by -5 to get rid of that negative as well. So we get 3x minus 5y equals 21. -5 times the 4 is going to be 20. 5 times 1/5 is just 1, so you get 21 there. So there's your standard form. If you want to graph this as well, the line parallels a slope of 3/5. We'll just start from that x-intercept instead of the y-intercept. And there's our parallel line there. All right, so when it comes to scatter plots, the biggest thing is getting it labeled properly. All right, so on my x's, I'm going from 2 to 14. On my x-axis down here, I go from 0 to 20, so that's fine. And my y-axis is going to 25. So we can count by ones on this whole graph. I'm just going to label every other just to make it look a little nicer here, and I don't have so much writing. All right, and then your next job is to plot all your points. So we have 2, 5, 3, 7. Oops, 2 5's right there. My bad. And then we have 3, 7, 4, 8, 6, 8.5, 7, 10, 9, 11.5, 10, 12, 11, 12.5, 12, 13, 13, comma 14.5, and then 14, 15.8. So it's going to be right up there. So again, when it comes time to draw that line of best fit, you got to use a straight edge. So you need to make sure you're using a ruler or just anything that's perfectly straight. Do not try and connect the dots here. You want it to go through as many points as possible. All right, so once you draw that line of best fit, your job is to find 2 points on your line of best fit, the line that you drew. So I'm going to go right there, that's 6, 9. And I'm going to go, let's go right there, that's 15, 15. All right, I'm going to write my equation using those 2 points. I'm fine with decimals here, so we're going to have 15 minus 9 in the numerator, 15 minus 6 in the denominator. So this is going to be 6 over 9, or 2/3. All right, so my slope is 2/3, or if you want to approximate this, it's going to be 0.67 feet. This is the height of a tree, so it'd be feet per year. All right, I'm fine with doing approximation here with scatter plots. Normally you don't say like 2/3 of a foot. We usually use halves, quarters, eighths. So if you want to change your 2/3 to 0.67, that's actually going to be acceptable here. Okay, so then next up, we need to get the y-intercept. Our y-intercept should come out to be about 5 here. But if we use our whole numbers, we'll have 9 equals 2/3 times 6 plus b, so we'll get 9 equals 4 plus b, so we'll get 5 is equal to b. So you can write your equation as y equals 2/3 x plus 5, or y equals 0.67x plus 5. It doesn't matter. We're using h and t here too for, t is your time, is your x in years. X will always be your time. So you can also say h equals 0.67t plus 5. All right, and last up, I wanted you to predict the height of the tree in 2020. So going back to the original problem, it says that t represents years after 1998. So if you think about it, 1998 to 2020 is going to be 22 years. So t equals 22 in 2020. So I got to do 0.67 times 22 plus 5. So we're going to get 19.75 feet. Okay, and that's really what we're looking for there. Our t was 22 here in the table, and t was 14. We're at 15.8. Now we're at 19.75. So obviously the tree is going to keep growing. So we want to get something that's taller. I would not expect to get like 100 feet. If your line was a little bit different and you got like 19 or you got like 18 and a half or you got 20, that's fine too. Your line of best fit's never going to be perfect, so you just got to try your best there. All right. So again, once you draw that line of best fit, you You don't even care about the points we graphed. All you care about is our line of best fit. That's what you base everything off of when you make a prediction with a scatter plot. Everything is based off of the line that we drew.